last 3 games you've made adjustments. What has it been about the last 5-6 days to where you've done a 180 and not only are you putting this game away, but you're doing it in such a dominant fashion at times?
Well, listen, we played a good game against the Jets early in the season, and then we were kind of like a no-show for the last 2. Give them credit; they played really well in both those games, but we didn't really show up to play for whatever reason. And like the guys are fully committed to playing the right way and playing hard and competing hard throughout our lineup, and that's the difference for us.
Jesse.
Coach, it seems like you guys are getting better by the game. I guess, 1, do you see it that way? And 2, in your eyes, how much better do you guys still need to be to get this closed out?
Well, we'll have to be better. I think I've really liked all 4 games from our group though. All 4. We made some mistakes in game 1. We made less in game 2. We made less in game 3. We probably made less here tonight on the defensive side of things. But our compete level and the intensity that we're playing with, the speed and pace we're playing with, the commitment that the team's playing with has been great in all 4 games. So sometimes you get the results, sometimes you don't. It's a game of mistakes. Sometimes you can cover them up, sometimes you can't. So we got to keep doing what we're doing. But the last one is always the toughest one to get, so we'll have to be better.
Evan.
I guess 1, is there an update on Kiviranta? And then 2, Kovalenko comes in, no practice time. What kind of goes into that decision, and how do you think he performed?
Yeah, so Kovalenko coming off a really strong game the other night in the American League. He's had time to go through systems there. They play the same way we do. He's had time to absorb that, get some coaching, go through practice time, game reps. I mean, he's played important games, right? KHL playoffs. Now he's in the playoffs in the American League. We've liked what we've seen. Would like to get a look at him in regular season, but he came over injured, right? Got hurt in the last game. So we wanted to give him a look. I mean, he plays the right side as a left shot. He's a competitive guy. So that's why we called him up. We feel like he's a good option to be able to step in and help, and he did. I liked his minutes. He didn't play a lot, but he was responsible, took care of the puck. He has a physicality to his game. He's not scared of the moment. He's excited to be here. So I thought it was a good kind of replacement for Kivy, who's out day-to-day right now with lower body injury.
Let's go to Arif.
Jared, last week Val had 2 goals against Edmonton. It was a game where both teams were kind of letting up before the postseason starts, and you threw him out there a lot late in the game trying to get him that 3rd one. Now it's the playoffs. You guys are playing again in 2 nights, and these games usually are a lot more physical. Was it an easy decision to just let him continue to stay out there and let the team rally around something like that?
Those guys have done such a nice job for us. I'm talking Mac, Miko, Kale, Taser, amongst others, and Lecky and Val on the 5 versus 6. They know it. They've been dialed into it. We've been tweaking things and going through things for 6-7 years now, right? We have a lot of new faces that are getting reps in that situation. And I also, part of it is, like, those guys drive the bus, right? Like, it's not just because they're good defensively, because we've got other good defensive players that can do that job, but those guys also get rewarded with points with the empty net, and it's part of it. You want your top guys feeling good. You want them in situations where they can pick up points and score goals. And for tonight, like with Val, if he's good, he's got 2, he's going to stay out there because he's such a trusted player. If he wasn't a trusted player, I'd have made a change, but all those guys have done such a nice job in that situation over the years that, you got to go with them. You got to go with your top guys.
Colleen, and I'll come back to you.
Coach, you had said that now's playing your best hockey at the right time. And Val, 9 points before that Edmonton game and got hot, staying hot. Is this the epitome of your team playing their best hockey at the right time?
Well, we're playing well. I mean, starts with the effort and the consistency and the discipline, and he's one of those guys, right? Like you always need your best players to show up in the biggest moments, and he's certainly one of our best players. And he's had a great series so far. Lots of guys have. I mean, I don't have a lot of complaints, like, when I go through our lineup and how our guys playing. They're playing to their identity. Like, take the Trenton line tonight. Like, they were working competitive, tenacious, relentless puck pursuit. They draw 2 penalties, So the top guys get out there, they get a big power play goal, but that's set up by the Trenton line's work and their checking details and their work up the ice. Like, they're making it hard on Winnipeg, and throughout our lineup with our work. So it's, I'm seeing what I want to see. I just want it to continue.
Kyle?
Jared, from a media standpoint, it's a little bit of a challenge to know how Val is doing. He declined interviews after the hat trick tonight, but on a personal level, just how has he been since rejoining the team, and is that a reflection of his play, just of how he's feeling off the ice?
Yeah, I mean, he's doing great. He really is, right? So that's number one. You want, like, guys to be in good mental health and taking care of themselves, and he's doing that, like, to be fair, he was playing really well when he wasn't in great mental health. So, but I just think long-term sustainability, that you want your guys feeling right and at ease away from the rink, and you want them to be having fun when they're coming to the rink, and they'll be more productive, and he's certainly doing that, but he's doing really well.
Ryan Bowling?
Jared, we talked before game 82 about guys resting and Val being one of those guys you wanted to see get going. Can you just describe the impact that he has on the offense when he is going? And also, does Lehkonen maybe get enough recognition for his contribution?
That's an easy one. That's no. He does not. Yeah. I mean, if you really watch video and dissect video and look at how many plays that Lecky makes on any given night, on the offensive side, on the defensive side, he doesn't get anywhere near enough credit for what he does for our team. And he's so valuable to our team in every aspect: power play, penalty kill, 5-on-5, down goals, up goals, scores big goals. I mean, this guy's a relentless worker. This guy's a warrior. So I think, like, super underrated. And Val has the same. He really does the same thing. Like, he's available for you and rock solid in almost every area of the game as a 200-foot player. And I mean, so, like, players like that, I mean, you can't even describe what they bring to the team, because it's like competitive, hard-working skill and they can play with anybody. You can move them around the lineup, and when you need something done, you need the job done, you can count on those 2 guys.
Corey?
You've talked about depth from pretty much like training camp. I know that's a callback to last year. It seems like your depth has matched the strength of Winnipeg's depth, but then conversely, has that allowed your stars to shine the way that they have in the series?
Well, yeah, I think I think it's a team game. I go back to, the Trenton line and drawing those penalties from hard work. The recipients of that hard work is our power play and our top guys. And I mean, you just can't win when you start knocking it down to 16 teams. You just can't win without depth, unless, like, your stars just go off and they're just insanely good, right? You need everybody, and because every other team has depth too, so you got to win your matchups and the guys you're lined up against all night long in order to win the game. And our depth has been really good. Like that, like I said, it's hard to look at our lineup and criticize any of our players, especially for their effort and commitment to play the right way.
Ryan?
Jared, what is the conversation about closing out a series? Well, even though, like, yes, you have a lot of your core, you still have enough players who either A, they've never done it with this group, or B, in the cases of some guys like Casey Middlestat, they've never been in this situation. So what is that conversation, or is there really a conversation? Because everyone sort of understands it.
Yeah, sometimes it isn't a big conversation. Like, it's because just the way we approach every game. Like, they know. I don't have to go tell them, hey, this is a big one. We need to win this game. Like, they know. Like, this is playoffs, and we have to have a killer instinct here and go play, put our best foot forward again for another game. And if it takes another one, then so be it. It is what it is. We got to take care of our business and what we control, and that's how we play, how we execute. But Like we do that all season long. We did it after game 1, we did it after game 2. It's like we're not satisfied because we beat the Jets in a playoff game. Like we have higher aspirations and high standards, and we're gonna do everything we can to accomplish them. So we'll evaluate this game, we'll go through it, we'll analyze it, we'll share the pertinent information with our team, and then we're turning the page and going to try to do it again and be better the next game.
Last couple, Megan.
When Bonus was asked about making adjustments, he expressed some frustration about his players going to the box and poor puck management. And making adjustments not only in game but in between games is something you haven't shied away from, moving Parise throughout the lineup, found Nichushkin elevated to the top line. I was curious how you toe that line when it comes to making changes and what your approach to that is.
Well, okay, so like sometimes you have to out of necessity because things aren't working, like your team's just not going, so you're trying to create a spark, so when it comes to moving guys around, sometimes you do it just because of the way teams are going to match you up. When you're talking about moving players from line to line, maybe something's not working, maybe you feel like a line is lacking something, so you do it. But like I hear about like media and everyone talk about adjustments, and this is not that we don't make any adjustments, but like sometimes the adjustment is just be better at what you do. Like one night it's going to look really good and the next night it's not. Like coaching isn't rocket science. People that say that we're making a ton of adjustments and they're not, I don't understand it. You're watching the game and you're trying to pick up on things that can help you, and you're trying to implement them in between periods and in between games. But like we like to stick to what we do. We have an identity. We know what it is. We just played 82 games to try to have success every single night, and we get to playoffs. Like we're not changing our systems in the playoffs based on what another team's doing. We can make adjustments and tweaks to it, and things we got to be aware of, and things that we see on the offensive side that we might be able to exploit, but it still comes down to execution and playing your best at the right times.
Last one, Rob.
You discussed a couple of tweets the other day about your puck retrievals on the forecheck. Once you've got dump-ins, there's certain things that you're doing. There are moments in this game where you're chaining 3 or 4 shots together because you've dumped a puck in, you've retrieved it well, and then you've retrieved your own shots after that. So what's working for you guys positionally, getting bodies in front of guys to make sure you get the puck back and get back at it?
Yeah, well, there's some things working. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it's still it's still effort based, and it's skating and work based, right? Like so, I said it after game 1, like that might have been as hard as I've seen our forward group as a whole, 12 guys work all season long, and they've continued that over 4 games. So tracking down loose pucks and trying to win races and playing in straight lines is just, it's the competitive nature of our group right now.
Great, thank you, Jared.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.